Make sure the sound is off.
It's already muted.
Do you know there's something on this Faisal? Faisal. There's something on here. No, there's a commercial on here. We need to get that off of there.
Can I see the code?
Huh?
The code.
Oh, that was the YouTube that was running. My bad.
No, yeah, you have to take that off.
No.
Her sound needs to be off too. Totally off. This mic right here will pick you up.
I forgot to put my hearing aids in, so you'll have to speak up.
Okay, not a problem.
No problem.
We haven't been here in a while.
We just gonna talk, about what you've been doing and and then your favorite scripture.
Hi, my name is Faisal.
I'm E. Nice to meet you.
E. And how should I present you?
Um,
Just E.
just E.
Are you a reverend or bishop?
Uh, why I am, yes. Yeah.
Reverend.
Well, and she's a professional creative economic developer. I can give you this. I can send it to you.
I'll take a pictures.
I'll just take a picture of that. Just the first part.
Cool.
Yeah. So how's it going? Going okay? Going okay?
Yeah.
So talk
So you
about,
got a little podcast thing.
you have to turn her sound off. Okay, now talk. Say something and see what.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Faisal, we have to do this like we did last week. Plug this into the extension cord. Yeah.
Is there like a headset so I could maybe hear better?
I don't have.
Would these work?
Yeah, you should be able to plug right into here.
What is that?
Just so she can hear better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm afraid to unplug stuff, but then I don't know what it is.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Everything is good to go.
Okay, good. Thanks. Thank you. So how long have you been working in the community on stuff you do?
30 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Working on community development projects and
Social justice,
social justice issues,
the arts.
the arts. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk about that. How was the trip to Korea?
Life changing. Yeah.
You want to talk
So-
about that a little bit?
So beautiful. So, I don't even know how to describe it.
Mhm. We'll talk a little bit about the state of Black America too,
Oh, yeah.
and what you think
Definitely.
about that. And yeah, we'll be all over the place.
My favorite place to be.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's going to be within the confines of how it goes. I'm not gonna, you know, you know but we talk about how you grew up, stuff like that. Okay, you've got Selena's name here on there. Is there any way we can put her name on there? But you'd have to go into her computer and do that, right?
Yeah,
Well, let's just
because
let's just make sure her name is up over her picture.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Let me see if I can change it from here.
Should ask Selena to do it because she knows it's her computer. We got 10 minutes,
We got actually 4 minutes.
huh?
We got 4 minutes.
Oh well, let's just leave it like that.
Okay.
Just put her name up put her name over her picture.
Oh, there's a way. I just need time. Okay, it's all.
Okay. Thanks, Hazel. So if you can hear me, just raise your hand and I'll speak louder. Just I got to the point where I can't hear out of this ear. So I understand.
I'm supposed to have surgery. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Bible Lecture Series, Lessons of a Lifetime. Let us welcome our distinguished guest, E. Mandisa Subira, who is a professional creative economic developer, political strategist, arts and community-based project and program manager, She's also an advisor for the Film and Performance Art of Department of Shoreline Community College. And as always, Dr. Reverend L. Jeffrey Sr., our pastor and host. Thank you.
Good evening. Hi, we're delighted to have Imandisa here with us today. Long time friend of this community and of mine. It's great to see you.
It's great to see you too.
Yeah. So we're just gonna talk about some things, and I'm just glad you were able to come to the Bible class. I see we have um, another name uh, on your computer. You want to show you want to go to your settings and show your face on that so that people can see you. Anyway, it's great to have you here and uh, to um, to talk about life and talk about your walk. I understand you just got back from Korea.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know, talk a little bit about that.
Well, it was my first trip outside of the United States,
Mhm.
so it was a little bit intimidating. But I went with an organization that you connected me with
Yeah,
uh, over 20, 30 years ago.
yeah,
They do a lot of peace ambassador work around the world. And so we went to Korea. People from all over the world came, and we just prayed and meditated on peace and did a lot of self-reflection, shared a lot of our personal journeys,
yeah,
from different cultures, different age groups, and just shared in the Korean culture.
yeah. How was that? How was the Korean culture?
It was inviting, embracing, and it kind of reminded me of the old school black community,
Okay,
when there was a unwritten or unspoken perspective that you had to hold yourself accountable,
yeah,
right? I didn't feel so much that the Korean people would get out of line and have to have somebody correct them. There's just like this knowledge of reverence and respect for their community. So it was very beautiful. And then their Korean theater was out of this world.
okay.
Yeah.
So you said it reminded you of old um, the times when our community had that kind of spirit, that kind of reverence for each other, and much less violence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what do you think got us to this point? What do you think happened?
I just think a lack of discipline and letting the perspective of the world define us rather than us define ourselves. I think when we had Jim Crow and all of that, like in our face, and we had that adversity as a constant reminder. And as an answer to that, we carried ourselves with a certain level of dignity and respect. And that's just missing these days. And it's really sad. And I really feel like when all the grandmothers passed away, like my grandmother in the baby boomer generation, that I think that's what's really missing is that solid matriarchal, foundation in the community.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did you grow up in Seattle?
No, I grew up in Montana.
Okay, tell me a little bit about what that was like.
It was actually, I didn't really know it was a problem till I got out in the world
Can
because
you
it's all I knew.
press your video to see if we can get you on video?
I pressed it and
It's not coming on.
there I
There
am.
you are.
Hi, me.
There you are. Okay, go ahead. What were you saying?
Um, so I grew up in a very strange family. My father, African American, and my mother Native American.
Hmm.
She adopted me when I was 9 months old.
Okay.
So you have this Black child raised in a Native family in an all-white community. So I kind of grew up having to have the experience of being judged by the content of my character.
Yeah.
And so I think I had a really strong, solid, conservative upbringing.
Okay.
My mother was Catholic, my father Baptist, and my grandfather was a Baptist preacher. So
Okay.
God was always at the center of
Okay.
everything that I did. And then I went to Catholic school.
Okay.
So even though there was a lot of abuse and trauma and
Stuff in
stuff
my
in my childhood,
childhood, I had
had
community and I
and I
had
had
God that
that
kind of
kind of
helped me
helped me
persevere through that. And I always felt like I wanted to give back to the world even at a young age.
Okay. Is your sound off? Because it seems like we're having a feedback.
Yeah.
Your sound,
Can you hear me
yes.
now?
Yeah, but your sound has to be completely off. It has to be completely off.
Okay, there.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
better. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you grew up in, were you exposed at all to Native culture?
Oh, absolutely, because my mother was me.
Uh,
So that was my aunties, my uncles, my
okay.
grandparents, because my birth mother's family lived in Missouri
Okay.
and my father's family lived in Georgia.
Uh,
So I grew up in a Native American family.
yeah.
So I have a very spiritual nature
Yeah.
because of being raised in a Native American family.
Okay.
That was my foundation.
Yeah. 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 So getting back to our community, what are some of the ways you think that we can sort of put our arms around our community to restore the kind of the kind of love and the kind of uh, responsibility that we used to have, sort of taking accountability for each other.
I think that we need to meet each other where we're at and understand that we're all at different phases of our development and of our uh, world experience. I think with the advent of the internet and people can Google stuff, we don't value our elders and wisdom and life experience anymore.
Yeah.
And we're so busy pointing the picture at each other or pointing the finger at each other that we're not really hearing each other. We're talking at each other. I also feel like the division within the community needs to be healed between Black male and Black female. There's a lot of trauma
Yeah.
that we need to work through with it.
Okay.
And to also get ourselves together to understand that we have to be effective on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
We can't just cater to one side and demonize the other side.
Yeah.
We have to be at the table.
Yeah.
Wherever decisions are being made for us, we need to be at the table.
So what are some of the causes of that trauma that you talk about between Black women and Black men?
Well, I think it goes all the way back to the very beginning, but then I can't really blame slavery,
No.
knowing the kind of solid relationship my grandparents had.
Yeah, and my parents and
I guess the media and, like I said before, believing the outside's perspective of our community
okay,
and letting them define us.
okay,
And then it feels like we have to prove
yeah,
that their definition is correct.
or
Because
incorrect.
my grandparents had a beautiful marriage and
Yeah.
raised 14 children
Yeah.
during the height of Jim Crow.
Yeah, and my parents raised 16,
Wow.
and my grandparents had, yeah. Yeah, so I think that we just have to, we do have a problem, and we have to try to see what we can do to put our hands or arms around that problem, because it is a real problem. especially with the violence.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So what do you think about what our president is doing now to respond to some of the violence that's in the community?
Uh, I really don't know how to respond to
Mm.
it. Being that I used to live in Washington, DC,
Yeah, okay.
I've lived in LA and South Central,
Yeah, I
and
haven't
it
lived in
didn't.
Washington, but I
Yeah,
visited. When I went to school in Richmond, I virtually lived there.
right.
Yeah.
And I was scared to walk down the street.
Mhm.
I knew the shenanigan that the community was involved in. That crime was a path of life
Yeah.
for many of the people in my age group.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the solution is.
Yeah.
If it's like we tried everything else, the
Yeah.
programs, the whatever. So maybe the discipline needs
Yeah.
to go in. I'm a big person on personal accountability.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, then you don't respect yourself, so you don't respect the community.
I think that ultimately the absence of personal accountability leaves you open for exploitation or for domination.
Absolutely.
And I think that people don't understand that, the Bible says the wages of sin is death. So we can't just think that we can operate on the level of no accountability for what's going on. And that goes for the institutions in our community and the
Right.
people in our community, that we have not really been good stewards of the community that our great grandfathers and grandfathers left us. I mean, we have not been good stewards, and we have not, because of we haven't been accountable. And whenever you live your life like that, then you open yourself up to be dominated and to be controlled and to be hurt. And I think that's what's going on now. But I don't think we can blame. Uh, I think there's blame, but I don't. I think we have to also look at our own the role we played in this or didn't play that allowed this to get to this point. Where
And then victimhood is a hustle now. There's a lot of money in playing the victim
yeah,
and in staying in crisis and staying in trauma and not elevating beyond it, because then you're not going to be able to write a grant for that.
no, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Rather than being writing grants for being proactive or
Right.
creative, it's easy to just write a grant around pain.
Right.
So yeah, I agree. I agree. So how do we get away from this almost almost sort of using pain as our leverage rather than trying to create possibilities beyond the pain and in spite of the pain, which is of course what our forefathers did.
Right.
They, in order to get us to this point, I mean, they didn't just concentrate on the pain. They dealt with the pain. They talked about the pain, but they also created innovative ways to move the community forward. And they didn't get federal grants. They couldn't write for federal. They had to galvanize the community.
Find me.
No, they had to galvanize the community around their perceptions and around their ideas, and yeah, and move those ideas forward. Like Marcus Garvey.
Arts. That's what I use the arts for.
Okay,
Um, because there's so many beautiful stories in our community
yeah,
of victory over adversity.
yeah,
And I feel that the more that we show, yeah, the pain is real.
yeah,
And even though this person may have gone through the same thing you did, it's still not the same, you know? So if you tell your individual story and talk about 8 steps backward,
yeah,
3 steps forward,
yeah,
I think it allows people the space to take that time to self reflect.
yeah,
And when you self reflect, you become self-aware. So then you begin self-development because
Yeah.
now you're aware of all the lies you've told yourself
Yeah,
or all the traumas that you've pushed down.
yeah, yeah,
So I feel like, isn't that what we did with the blues,
yeah,
jazz?
yeah,
I'm ready for a renaissance,
yeah.
Urban Jeffrey.
Well, I guess rap was supposed to be that next step forward. I think, but I think it was compromised early
Oh,
on.
absolutely.
And because of that, because it was compromised, I think it's trying to escape that now with people like Kendrick and J. Cole, people like that. They're trying to lift it out of that state of compromise. But at the same time, the damage has really been done, especially uh, the damage, especially with the culture in terms of how it has degraded women and glamorized crime and
Right,
violence
right.
and violence.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do need that next thing that will take us to a more uh, self-respectful understanding of who we are.
Right.
The thing that happened with jazz and the thing that happened with the gospel music.
Theater, I think theater is the best solution because you can walk through your pain as a different character,
Yeah,
but because you have to go through the rehearsal
yeah,
process of knowing that character's path,
yeah,
you yourself heal. So it really helped me because growing up in Montana, I didn't learn a lot. My dad kept a lot from me. It's in my Native American, the trauma they kept it away from me.
okay.
And so they led me to believe Dr. King fixed everything.
I think that that's a problem.
Yeah,
I think that's a real problem that we were led to believe, the culture was led to believe with the passing of the Civil Rights Bill by Lyndon Johnson, that, well, we were led to believe by Martin's proactive movement that everything was going to be fixed. And we bought into that, that we could fix everything from 200, 350 years, we could fix it in a decade.
right.
And we,
Especially when you're talking about the consciousness.
yeah,
We spent all those years separate and having adversity,
yeah,
and then you just throw us all together.
yeah.
And the consciousness didn't have time to catch up.
No, the consciousness didn't catch up, and it didn't catch up for a reason because everything was not fixed.
Right, exactly.
I mean, when those kids went to those suburban schools, they were called the N word, and they were spit on, and they were, I mean, and the teachers uh, treated them as inferiors,
Right.
and we sort of just ignored that. But the consequences of that became kids who felt alienated and totally uh, without a space to be humanized and to be human. And so they created their own world, which is a very violent world and a very destructive world. But
Yes.
it was a world where they could be somebody and also enrich themselves to a certain extent until they went to prison.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
it's really tragic. So how do we come back from that?
I just feel like
Do you think that Martin was wrong? I mean, you think that integration was wrong?
I think it's what we thought we needed to try. I think that that's what we thought when we looked over and saw that they had better swimming pools and all these other things. Like, oh, okay, well, we want that, but we abandoned our own, and we lost that spirit of entrepreneurship and work ethic. Work ethic is so missing today.
Yeah,
Guiding values, guiding principles, all of those things were second nature. I'm all the way in Montana,
mhm.
but my dad's upbringing in Macon, Georgia was still with me,
Transferred to Montana. Yeah,
still transferred
yeah,
to that. So when I left Montana, the first place I went was Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And I was like, why are these black people so angry? Because I thought Dr. King fixed everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then my goal was, okay, well, I'll just become rich and famous and throw money at it. Then I came to Seattle,
Yeah.
and Seattle turned me into an activist.
Yeah.
And I figured you can't just throw money at the problem, you have to get active. And then I went out, tried to change the world, and said, whoa, I'm asking the world and these organizations to do things I'm not doing internally for myself.
Yeah.
And that brings back to the spiritual foundation
Yeah.
that's missing in our community.
Yeah. So what are the spiritual things that keep you? What are you do? You have a scripture that you rely on, some spiritual principles that keep you during your walk.
Absolutely. There's actually two Psalms 23. I especially like 23 because that's the day I was born, the 23rd, and 1 Corinthians 13.
Okay. Let's talk about Psalms 23 because that um that's a powerful. I know it's familiar to a lot of people, but it's powerful. I was sick for a while. And before I would go into any operation, I would say that song. I would visit that song. So what is it about that song?
For me, when I started realizing that God dwelled within me and that there was a personal relationship that I had, that song took on a whole new meaning.
Mm.
Like even though your journey, God has shown me here, this is where I want to take you. But on those days when it's so dark and you want to give up, it's really about, hey, God is there with me.
Yeah.
And He's my peace.
Yeah.
And I can lay down by the calm water,
Yeah.
even when there's all this chaos
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
And knowing that I may not make the right choice, but then there's going to be a guide. It's going to kind of pull me in the right direction.
Yeah.
So it really comforts me and keeps me on track when I leave hope or when I'm going through a difficult time, especially when I'm like doing something in community.
Yeah.
And you're just like, it's so simple. Justice.
Yeah.
It's so difficult.
Loving your fellow man, loving other people, or treating other people as you want to be treated.
Right.
It's just simple things.
So I'm just gonna go get my blanket and lay down
Yeah.
beside the calm water
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
understand that there's a master plan.
Yeah.
And as long as I just stay on course, I'll be okay.
Yeah. You have a son that's handicapped, right?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Because you're a
my son-
single mom and you raised your son, and I've always thought that was admirable, the way you cared for your child and where you know, I mean, and I can just imagine. I can't. Well, I wouldn't know, but I can imagine all of the things, trials that you've been through.
Lots of sacrifices.
Yeah, talk a
Uh,
little bit about that.
so my son was born with hydrocephalus,
What is
which
that?
is water on the brain.
Okay.
So his ventricles aren't large enough for the spinal fluid to drain itself. So it accumulates on his brain.
Okay.
So he has this tubing that drains it into his abdomen.
Okay.
So to date, he's had 14 major surgeries.
Wow.
When he was born, he was 4 pounds, 4 ounces, had his first brain surgery at 2 weeks old. My husband wanted a football player. And when he found out that his son was disabled, then our marriage kind of fell apart. So I'm still his caregiver. He's 35
Yeah,
now.
I know.
He's excelling. He's a video editor. He had to take his own path. So I had to homeschool him. So I couldn't have a traditional job and do
Yeah.
traditional things, which I think is part of God's plan because it gave me the time to be in the community so much, because I needed something to
Yeah.
uplift me because my son being in and out of the hospital and being taken away and ambulances every other week it was a lot. And my family didn't understand. So, I was homeless. I mean, it was really difficult. But the Seattle community and the work that I did, I was able to thrive.
Oh, you have thrived. Yeah, and it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, it's just amazing the strength that you demonstrated with all that you've gone through. That's amazing. Yeah. So you say your son is doing
Oh yeah, he's doing really well. He has his own video editing company,
okay,
and he's a producer, does a lot of film work,
okay,
and he hasn't had a surgery in almost 10 years.
yeah.
Yeah. We had an excellent neurosurgeon that has just really taken him through the rough years. So
What kept you during that time? What kept you through? I know it had to be a lot of times when you you um you felt that your sacrifice was, I mean, why am I doing this? Why am I making these sacrifices? What kept you grounded in relationship? I know you love your child, but there are a lot of women who love their children who don't make those sacrifices for them. What was it that made you, give up a large portion of your life to make sure that he was okay?
I guess I wanted him to have the parent that I didn't have, you know, because my parents were into gambling and drinking and partying, and uh, there was a lot of physical and emotional abuse in my
Okay.
life. And I didn't really have anybody. I had my grandmother. If I didn't have my grandmother, I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah,
And of course, she's a preacher's wife.
yeah,
So she instilled the tools in me, I think, to be there with my son. Because my grandmother actually had two children with Down syndrome.
okay,
Down syndrome. So she really helped me through it. And my son is such a bright light.
yeah,
So unique since he was a little kid. I just was like, what are you going to be when you grow up? So I wanted to give him that foundation of community so that he could, you know, thrive and flow into his destiny.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's powerful testimony of resilience and what we're talking about, personal responsibility,
Right.
which I think is something we need in our,
Especially when you have to be mom and dad.
yeah, I think yeah. Say a little bit about that.
Well, we hear these stories about, poverty and welfare moms and baby mamas and stuff like
Yeah,
that. My relationship wasn't like that. I was married to a military man,
uh,
and my marriage still fell apart,
yeah,
and I still became a single mom. And so I think it has a lot to do with where you are in your life. And if you don't have a goal or something that you're striving towards, I think being a single mom and raising your children without a vision makes it more difficult.
okay,
But I always knew where I was headed
yeah,
was to be some type of leader in the community, not so that people could follow me, but so that I could say, hey, I made it through.
yeah,
And there is a path.
yeah,
I'll shine a light on it,
yeah,
but you have to walk it yourself.
yeah,
But there's no excuses when you hear where I've come from. And every day I still choose love,
yeah,
like First Corinthians.
yeah.
Right?
We don't talk. Let's talk about that. First Corinthians is also one of my favorite scriptures because it comes right after the whole gifts and all of that, gifts of tongues and gifts of prophecy and discussions of all of the gifts that God has given to people in the Christian family and in the human family, because all of us are born with uniqueness, regardless. We all have uniqueness and we all have gifts. And but he says, in spite of all of that, in First Corinthians 13, if you don't have love, you have nothing.
Right. Absolutely. I think that it's very easy to look at that scripture and think of love as an emotion,
Yeah,
a feeling,
yeah,
rather than a force of power
yeah,
in creation and nature.
yeah,
Um, the people that loved me the most when I was a kid, they're the ones that did me the worst, right? So my journey was always about self-love. How do I like myself? How do I not be so hard on myself about things? And then when I started getting working in the community,
yeah.
how do I love my people when they're hard?
That's a good point.
You know,
That's a good point.
so I think that I'm actually writing a song based on this scripture
Okay,
called Tongues of Men and Angels,
okay,
because I feel as a spiritual person, sometimes you do get visions and hints and discernment about certain things that other people don't see.
yeah,
But when you have to make a decision when it comes to something that's very difficult and dark, that you have to choose love.
yeah,
And usually, if you're able to think of how you love yourself, then you think of your respect and your morals, your ethics, and what you will and won't do.
yeah,
And from that foundation of self love, you're able to just love everyone
yeah,
unconditionally.
yeah,
Even if it's from way over here,
yeah,
that you love them.
yeah,
But I do believe it is the greatest gift, and we we don't cherish it enough.
yeah, yeah. No, we don't. We think it's weakness. A lot of people think it's weakness.
Right.
And I think we've been fooled into believing that caring about our world, about people, is weakness. I mean, we have people like Elon Musk who said the problem with America is too much empathy. And that's, I think that's where we are, especially we talk about street culture. It's like empathy is weakness. And even in the church,
Right.
you know, empathy is weakness. I mean, in many instances, when we pass by people who are homeless and pass by people who are hungry on our way to church, and we brag about what kind of service we had when women and children sleeping in cars right around the corner.
Right.
So that's just sort of a distancing ourselves from the other.
That's the whole point, is that you're looking at them as the other
Yeah, the other.
rather than a reflection of yourself,
Yeah,
and you're one crisis away from
from
being the
being
same
the
position.
other. Yeah, that's the point. And one sickness away from being the other, especially if you're as you get older, one sickness can put you in make you disabled, put you in that whole debilitating position where you're in a nursing home where somebody has to feed you.
Right. Yeah.
Just one illness. And I think people need to really understand that we are the other that we despise. We are potentially that person, that that homeless person, that disabled person, that person who can't feed themselves in a nursing home. But I guess it's it's how do you think? Why do you think that people can't see that?
I think that we live in a very narcissistic society
Okay,
nowadays, especially with the internet.
okay,
People are kind of really in their own world and are more concerned about how they're perceived by the world than what's really going on in the world. And I really think there needs to be a balance, because there's a lot of governing going on with empathy, but there's no logic to it,
yeah,
right?
okay,
Can't govern with your heart.
yeah,
The two have to work together. And again, it goes back to discernment, spiritual discernment, knowing that you have to take each individual person as an individual person. There's not a group of homeless people.
Yeah,
There's not a group of bank robbers.
yeah, yeah,
These are people that bring their own individual traumas
yeah,
and reasons for whatever they're doing it.
yeah,
And I think that's where the problem
yeah,
is that we paint everybody with one
yeah.
brush,
Yeah, those are the homeless over there. Yeah,
right? Because I've been homeless
yeah,
and sometimes I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the freedom.
yeah.
I enjoyed, the time to just, especially being homeless in LA in my car.
Okay.
Um,
How
it
was
gives me
that?
such
How was that?
fulfillment.
Okay, talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's the original, went to LA to work on my acting career.
Okay, all right,
Ended
okay.
up homeless in my car. But it was free, it was a little scary at night. I just sleep in my car and, find a nice neighborhood, sleep in my car and go to the gym and bathe. And then I would just work out and go to auditions and was eating healthy. Um, I'm not out there doing drugs and,
No,
harassing people.
yeah,
Have got my little sign. And I felt like God would take care of me. There's times when strangers would just walk by and hand me a sandwich
yeah,
for the day. Um, so it really depends on your own individual character. And if you know your purpose, if you don't know your purpose, then you just blow in the wind. There's no reason for you to not travel down the wrong path. There's nobody there to hold you accountable.
yeah.
Because, if I start wilding out, the whole community in Seattle would be like, somebody call Email decency.
Yeah, yeah. But that's a part of holding yourself to a level of purpose and responsibility. Other people become your safety net because you're out there. You put yourself out there. You put yourself out there in such a way that people people care, about uh, if you start doing things that are irresponsible and things like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way community is. That's the way people who feel lonely, the best way to get of loneliness is to put yourself out there because there are people who are thinking about you. You don't even know.
Right. Yeah.
And that's, I don't think people understand that because they think giving of themselves just distracts from something, takes something from them, when actually it's adding something to them. It's giving them the shelter that they desire.
Well, I grew up in a family of athletes, so I always use sports analogy.
Okay.
I want to win.
Yeah.
So if you're coming to practice late,
Yeah.
or if you're limping around,
Yeah.
you're not doing your exercises,
Yeah.
then you can't be on the starting team.
Yeah.
You can ride the bench,
Yeah.
but learn your lesson.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of the problem too, is people don't stay in their lane. Because you have leadership qualities doesn't mean that you should be leading the organization.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, people just don't want to learn anymore or do apprenticeships,
Yeah.
be humble, um, learn to take constructive criticism. I'm an actor,
Yeah.
so I get criticized all the time.
Yeah. I wonder, I want to also say that we have a young man in our church, Isaiah Anderson, who has the ACT Theater. I don't know if you know anything about ACT Theater.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they've created ACT Theater, and they just had a performance down at Benner Hall, The Wiz. It was like the Broadway play, exactly like the Broadway play, but it was done by kids, young people, 18. I think it was what, 10, 11. I'm not sure what the ages were, but but it blew me away. It was great. So yeah, tell me a little bit about what it takes to be an actress or an actor, because you're right. They are criticized endlessly about by the public and by by their
Or
by the
directors.
directors and and producers and casting people. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. How does that feel to be told you're not good enough
Well, it's the
constantly?
same as being an athlete, you know,
Yeah, yeah, the same thing, same principle.
it's a vocation
Yeah,
and you have to train. And I still train.
yeah,
You have to pay your due. If you
yeah,
want to be good, you have to keep putting yourself into it
yeah,
and challenging yourself. I know some actors that'll be like, "Oh, I would never play that role." Why?
yeah,
My acting training comes from Japan,
yeah,
and he just let a small number of Americans teach his method of acting. And there's a lot of physical, like Tai Chi movement that you do to get strong. Because he says that an actor must have strong leg to connect to the earth because that's where all the truth comes
yeah,
from. It's not about winning Oscars.
yeah,
It's about you're a vessel for the truth of this story, the journey of this character, and the audience needs to believe you. So I think a lot of people just want to be famous or whatever. They don't take acting as a craft, and it's a craft, just like playing an instrument.
You know, my battery, for some reason, I thought I had enough energy on this battery to last through this program, but we might have to end early. So we'll just keep a watch on it. But I'm so sorry. Um, there's no way now because I didn't even bring my card. But as we look at all of this, um, yeah, the ability to absorb the critical parts of life, the ability to put yourself out there and to be um, and to have you said the bet that you have to have a goal, you have to have a purpose, you have to have an understanding of who you are and why you're here on this planet. And I think that for many, they've lost that. Or they never really tried to achieve that. They never understood that. And that might be some of the reasons why uh, they give up or they don't aspire to be better.
But look how old Moses was when God finally called him
Yeah,
into his purpose.
yeah,
I just think you just have to believe that you have one. I've always known since I was a little girl that I would be in the spotlight somehow.
yeah,
And I thought it was the arts. But
yeah,
as soon as I threw myself into the arts, here came politics.
yeah,
And that's really what's taken my life for the last 30 years is
yeah,
writing legislation, running for office, working on campaigns, doing activism. But then I realized the entertainment industry is political.
yeah,
So it's almost like God prepared me. So when I do bring my talent out into
yeah,
my creative talent, it's protected because of what I've learned about the politics
yeah,
of the entertainment industry in order to remain independent.
yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the politics of what's going on now in this country. Um, I don't really know about your politics, and that's not really the point. I'm just trying to figure out what do you think is going on as it relates to the political arena in America right now?
I believe there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't know anything about. That's been going on for decades.
Mm.
Like George Carlin said, they're a club and we're not in it. So
Yeah,
I see the manipulation, especially since I've been in the media.
yeah,
And you and I both have had the media demonize us. So I think there's like a concerted effort for whatever they're doing to destroy humanity and remove God from our existence.
you think it's about the rule of money and materialism, the total that it's about money and control and that we don't really need all the people. We just need money. We just need a means to generate money, to have control, and we can just occupy the planet, and everybody else just, it doesn't matter. That money has become their god, and
Right.
control
Empower.
and power. This has been something that has been on its way into the world for a long time. I mean, actually, yeah, especially since the beginning of colonialization, when people just start occupying other countries and taking over people. But I think it's with the advent of AI, I think they see a way where they really don't need anybody.
Right. And then they're not going to need each other. So there's
Yeah,
that
it never
infight
ends, does it?
within themselves because somebody has to crown themselves the king.
Yeah, somebody
So,
has to be the sycophants,
right.
the ones who bow down.
I used to allow myself to get emotionally manipulated by it.
Yeah,
I don't anymore because I see the games,
yeah,
both sides of the aisle.
yeah,
So I just try to keep the community centered on what can we do from ourselves? How can we move past this and
yeah.
create our community?
Yeah, how do we create communities of faith, communities of love? And I think that, yeah, I think you're right. I think that we can't be like them, because trying to be like them is going to end up where many of our famous musicians and athletes have ended up being destroyed,
Right.
because what we have to be is true to ourselves, and true to our community, and true to our faith, true to our ancestors, rather than trying to be like something that we have no real understanding of what it is. I don't know if
Well, I
that.
had the blessing of working for Prince in the late 90s,
Okay.
and he got called into a project with Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
Muhammad Ali had gone on a world tour
Hmm.
and was just like, look at what the United States is doing.
Yeah.
We need to have a World Healing Benefit concert.
Okay.
So the first person he asked to help him was Prince. And I had just gotten organizing a huge international project. So I was like, oh my goodness, a musician and a boxer trying to organize them.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can help.
Yeah.
And they were ahead of their time. They were like, we're going to have to depend on each other. So Muhammad Ali was like, I have a lot of friends. I'm going to call all my friends together. We're going to have a World Healing Benefit concert, and I'm going to support the organization. They're doing the work in the community. Of course, they got sabotaged.
How did
So
how did it get sabotaged?
the politicians came in,
Okay.
Jesse Jackson and people like that, and wanted to turn it into a voting participation thing rather than a movement like they were trying to start.
Yeah.
And we were trying to do this in the 90s, and the only option we had was pay-per-view. But now we have streaming.
Yeah.
So I'm actually taking their project and doing it at Shoreline Community College
Okay.
to honor their legacy,
Okay.
but to do it in a small
Smaller way.
area,
Yeah.
work it out, and then expand it
Yeah.
from city to city to show a community these are your resources. These are the wonderful people you have in your community.
Hmm.
This is the money we can raise. This is the money that we can put out there in the community. And let's look at this for 3 years, see how that money circulate, and then we'll duplicate it in other areas. Because I believe everything that you want is really in your own community. But we
Yeah.
don't talk to each other.
Yeah. I've
like
always
this.
believed that myself. I've always believed that all that we need is within our grasp. It's within the radius of our reach, and that the idea that it's not, it comes from that negative place in our minds that says we're not good enough, that God doesn't really love us, that God, that they say God loves us, but he doesn't really love us. but that's not true. God does love us, and that even though we have different challenges, the capacity to meet those challenges are within our own abilities and within our own reach. And I think that goes to our community. I mean, our community has the capacity to do and to meet the needs, all of our needs, but we don't believe it. Or if we do believe it, we just don't seem to want to do it.
Right.
And that's always frustrated me. It's always frustrated me that people don't want to reach beyond what they see and reach beyond what what is obvious to that which is not so obvious. I've always that's a part of the hurt that I've always felt for Black people or for Black communities. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, it does, especially when you look back at things we accomplished in the 17 and 1800s.
Yeah,
Just extraordinary things.
yeah. Marcus Garvey had a fleet of boats
Right.
that the CIA that the government put holes in, and before they brought him down. But I mean, extraordinary things. I mean,
Right.
we
And we
did.
focus so much on the negative. I don't take on my grandmother's suffering because I know she didn't have more than an eighth grade
Yeah,
education, and she became a nurse. A doctor trained her directly. And she was able to accomplish extraordinary things. And she was born in 1915. So what excuse do I have?
yeah. That's what.
And I'm tired of the excuses.
I am too. I'm just. Oh, I'm. It's just amazing how we have so much more than they had, and we're doing so much less
So much less.
than they did with it. I'm not talking about everybody because we have some extraordinary people who are doing some extraordinary things in this world. People
Right.
who come out of the Black community, but I'm talking about the collective. The collective is just lost, and we put ourselves in a position now where we're occupying armies are going to be taking over our communities, and many of our young people are going to end up in concentration camps, which
Yeah.
they don't really understand the significance of that. In a concentration camp, you have no rights, and once your rights are taken away from you, then you're just a number, and we don't know what their purposes are for putting you there. We know that people are making money off the military, off the prison industrial complex. We know that
Right.
they're making a lot of money off of the immigrants that they're housing in these complexes. So the name of the game right now is just greed and power and money
Yeah,
for
pretty
those
much.
for those who have the capacity to do that.
Well, we just have to make love cool again. The Black
Yeah,
community, we're trendsetters.
yeah, we are
Trendsetters,
trendsetters. Yeah.
so we need to, put out the right trend
How do you
and
think we
people
do
come
that? How do
running.
you think we do that?
I think we get together with Stevie and, who do we have left? Oba Babatunde. These are people I've dealt with in Hollywood.
Uh,
And when I met Oba Babatunde,
Tell me about him. I'm not familiar.
oh, if you saw him, you would know who he is. He
Okay.
was in Dreamgirls.
Oh, okay. Okay, I
He
think I know.
played Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just didn't know his name. Yeah.
He's on SWAT right now with Shamar Moore.
Okay, I know you're talking about.
He's my mentor
Okay.
in Hollywood. And he had told me many years ago that he had sat down with Stevie, Sidney Poitier, Bill Cosby, just some of the old school artists. And they said, we're tired, but we're not passing the torch to these artists.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that our entertainer, our athletes, our business geniuses, I don't think it's that they don't want to share the knowledge.
Okay.
I think they're waiting for the right group of people to come up and be like, we're ready. And we will honor everything that you've been through, it will carry the torch.
You know, I feel that, and I see that, but my critique of that is that sometimes you have to get in the mix and create those people and create that group. That group is not going to just come to you because there's just so much going on. There's just so many distractions, so much other stuff that they got to wade through, and sometimes you have to come into that mix and create those people or find those people and raise them up. I don't know if that makes.
Does, but once he said that to me, I made it my mission to find those people.
Yeah.
This close
Yeah,
to be able to say rest.
yeah,
Because he was telling me that when people like me come to Hollywood, the white organization zap us up and then put up barriers for us to get back to our community
yeah.
and
Well,
do those types of projects
that part, yeah, yeah,
with our community.
yeah. There's always
Because you
strings
start
to the
signing those
the
contracts
strings to the money.
and you're stuck.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I feel that in that group, and then when you got like the I want to call him Lou Alcindor,
okay. Kareem,
Kareem,
yeah,
when you have where they came from, where they were able to come, the discipline,
yeah,
and just like the blueprint,
yeah,
so many of our
yeah,
people that left a blueprint.
yeah. They have, they really
If
have.
we could just follow the blueprint,
Yeah,
I think we'd be okay.
yeah. I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to be
Yeah.
okay. I think we've gone through this period of time when we lost our way, and it's the church. Everybody has lost their way. We're supposed to be building community. That's what we're supposed to be, helping each other, building each other, and we start sort of pulling away and building our own brand, building our own selves, enriching our own selves at the expense of the community and at the expense of other people. And now we're realizing that that didn't work because we did that, the whole community is being destroyed, and now it's being occupied. And so it's, the destruction came. Now the occupation is coming, and our children are being taken off the streets as they are being taken off the streets in DC. And we, some of them will be tracked, some of them won't, especially if they don't have trackable capacity, if you don't have family, if you don't have grandmother or mother or father, you just disappear. And that's what I'm concerned about. But I think we're going to move away from this. I think we're going to move out of this. And maybe, well, I know that when we move out, we'll be the better for it. I just admire you. I've always admired you from a distance. I mean, your tenacity, your faith, your faith. Tell me a little bit about, maybe we got a few more minutes. Maybe you want to talk to someone about your faith, the kind of faith that has brought you through this. Maybe a young mother who will view this, or a young Christian person.
Ever since I was a little girl, um, I love singing Yes, Jesus Loves Me. And I remember saying, there's something inside me that I wish I could pour out in a cup, give to other people.
Mm,
And I never knew what that was. And I think that there's just an inner joy that something beyond me thought of me and brought me into existence. I think it's a natural curiosity
yeah,
of what is a me
yeah,
and why is a me.
yeah,
And then when you start to notice synchronicity,
yeah,
like, oh, I came here and then this has happened. Like when I was telling people that I was going to come to meet with you
yeah.
and trying to tell the story, and I was like, oh, he's not your regular pastor. He's out there doing stuff. And talking about leadership
Yeah.
and economic development and everything. And I think watching other people stand in their purpose is what has kept my faith. anytime I doubted, God would bring someone around and be like, I'm not playing games with you when I say I want you to do this. Here's someone else doing it and doing it with integrity. So I think that if you believe in yourself and you accept every part of yourself, and if you're sad, you're sad. If you're happy, you're happy.
Yeah.
But just accept yourself where you're at because there's a reason for what you're going through.
Yeah.
And you'll find out that reason.
Yeah.
Maybe 5, 10 years down.
Yeah, but you will find it out.
But if you know that you've given your life to God and God is at the center of your life, that everything happens for a reason. And it's going to help develop your character. And it's going to help you help others by example.
Well, great talking to you.
You too.
I just want to just say before we go off that there's a event happening in the city um, tomorrow, and I'm trying to pull it up now. I'm trying to I can't find it. Yeah, but it's at the it's going to be at it's going to be downtown at the town hall on Saturday at 6. It's about I'm trying to think of the speaker. He ran for president, the from Yale, Harvard. I can't think of his name. I hope he doesn't. I hope he never looks at this. I hope he never looks at this thing. Um, but anyway, it's been being sponsored by Reverend Sekou of the Valley Christian Center, and he's going to be at First Methodist tomorrow. The professor at Yale ran for president. Cornel West.
Dr. West is in town.
Yeah, he'll be
Okay.
at First Methodist
Okay.
Church tomorrow, starting at 12, and then he'll be at the town hall downtown at 6 on Saturday. So I want to make sure I mention that to anybody who want to go see Dr. Cornel West. So I'll be there all weekend uh, with Dr. Sekou. Do you know him, Dr. Sekou? You need to meet him.
Sounds familiar.
He's a very powerful person. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And tonight, I'm glad that my computer lasted. I was afraid all through for the last 30 minutes that it was going to go out. I'm glad it lasted. So we'll see you next Thursday for our weekly Bible discussion. And appreciate those of you who did tune in. Thank you for being a guest.
My pleasure.
God
God
bless
bless
you.
you.
God bless you.